I'm Peter, and welcome to another edition of F5 DevCentral's Lightboard Lessons. A protocol is an official procedure or set of rules governing how to do something. If you go to the United Nations, there is a protocol in place in how diplomats interact with each other. If you want to meet the Queen, the Pope, a head of state, there is a protocol on how you would approach, address, and interact with that individual. On the internet, and particularly the web, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, or HTTP, is an application-level protocol which defines the message structure between the web browser or a web client requesting content or resources, and then the web server that is delivering the application. So let's light up some of the basics of HTTP. So back in the early days of the internet, the early 1990s, before the World Wide Web, the internet was full of things like bulletin boards and gophers and FTP, file transfer protocols, just sending files back and forth. But the advent of the World Wide Web, dub, in the late 90s, and this whole idea of a multimedia version of the internet, graphical, pictures and videos and interaction with humans, also then, of course, led to HTML, hypertext markup language. So the code behind it all, being able to create a link on an object, hypertext, and once you click that link, you get hyperspace sent to somewhere else. And you can see there's similarities, HT, hypertext. So there's some basics of the World Wide Web and how all of this stuff is put together. And so first, within the World Wide Web and how this all works is a URI. So URI, a Universal Resource Indicator. And these things are built out with how it kind of works is using the protocol HTTP, get me this TRAL F5.com. Get me this resource. And even after .com, you could have /articles. And so this, at least, some people kind of interchange URI with URL. A lot of ways how I explain it is that a URL would be something like, /articles, so where you get to the page with all of the articles, a universal resource locator, and then a URI would then be the / the specific article. And so within this URI, you have the protocol using HTTP, go to this server or this host, which is, the host is DevCentral, and you might, obviously recognize a domain name, f5.com, and then grab me this particular specific resource. In the early days of the internet, we often also had to, HTTP, you could do www.example.com and then put a :80, which indicates the port number on the internet for HTTP, port 80. You might have heard this combination of port 80 and port 443. So there is 80 and 443. So 80 is HTTP's port, and then 443 would be HTTPS, or secure HTTP. And so this is really what's called a GET request. Get me this resource with the HTML code using this protocol. It's kind of basic and simple. Within HTTP, as you're browsing the internet, also there is various error codes or status codes tied to HTTP. And so those are like the 100 level status codes is just info, just information telling you what's going on. The 200 level codes is success, like a 200 OK. 300 level HTTP status codes are redirects, D-I-R-E, redirect, like a 301 redirect. There are 400 level status codes, and those would be client status codes, whether it's client errors or just straight up client error codes. And you might have heard of the 404, not found. And then finally, the 500 level codes are server error codes. So, sometimes you click the browser, nothing happens for a while, and then you'll get the 404 not found, or even the server error, the 503. I think that's server not available, but you get the idea. So there you have it, some of the very basics about the hypertext transport protocol. And now, probably, I would say, over 80%, 90% of the traffic on the internet these days is done over HTTP, the Hypertext Transfer Protocol. If you like this video, please subscribe to DevCentral's channel. Thank you for watching. I'm Peter, and we'll see you in the community.